Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geostrategic Pulse. Thank you so much for watching or listening to the podcast today. We really appreciate you taking the time to join us. Iran wants a missile capable of flying 15,000 kilometers far enough to put the United States within range. But here's the question nobody can ignore. Where would Iran get the technology? Iran already has a history of acquiring foreign missile technology. And when you look at North Korea, Russia, and Iran, a potentially disturbing technology pipeline begins to emerge. Could Moscow actually help Tehran build an ICBM capable of reaching America? And if so, how quickly could Iran turn that technology into a real weapon? Watch until the end and then tell us what you think. Could Iran really get an ICBM? Drop your opinion in the comments, like, share this video, and subscribe. There are no wrong opinions here. Let's debate it.
Right, and our mission for this deep dive is to establish exactly what the latest info reveals about that pipeline.
Yeah.
And just to be clear up front, we are keeping our focus strictly on the geostrategic implications of this potential technological leap. So we aren't taking any political sides today. Our objective is, well, simply to analyze the latest updates and evaluate how a shift of this magnitude could fundamentally rewrite the global security landscape.
Absolutely. So let's start by laying out the facts on the ground, right?
Let's do it.
The latest updates we're looking at, they center on a statement made during a Friday prayer service by Abdul Nabi Mousavi Fard. And he serves as a representative of Iran's supreme leader.
Right.
And this wasn't just like a vague rhetorical flourish. He explicitly declared Iran's intent to develop a missile with a 15,000-kilometer range.
Yeah, and he directly linked that specific range to the need to have the capability to strike U.S. territory.
Exactly. Now, to put that into perspective for you, we have to look at what Iran actually has sitting on the launch pad today. Currently, their longest-range operational ballistic missile is the Khorramshahr, but that one maxes out at roughly a 4,000-kilometer range.
Right, and that gap, I mean, going from 4,000 to 15,000 kilometers, that is the entire crux of the issue.
Yeah, it's massive.
It is, because to understand the gravity of that statement, you have to understand what it actually takes to bridge that technological canyon. It's not just a matter of scaling up.
Right, you don't just, like, build a longer aluminum tube and pour in more fuel, right?
Exactly. You don't just add more gas and suddenly hit 15,000 kilometers. The physics of it change entirely.
And this is where I really struggle with the math they're presenting. I mean, going from 4,000 directly to 15,000, it's not a natural progression. It's like skipping high school and college to go straight into a PhD program.
That's a great way to put it.
Right. Because from an engineering standpoint, why would any nation skip the logical intermediate steps? Like if the goal is simply an ICBM deterrent, the standard baseline is, what, 5,500 kilometers?
Yeah, about 5,500 is your standard entry-level ICBM.
Okay, and if the goal is strictly hitting Washington or New York from Iranian territory, a 10,000-kilometer missile totally gets the job done.
It does.
So why bypass a decade of necessary incremental testing to jump straight to 15,000?
Well, you've hit on the exact anomaly that intelligence analysts look for. That unnatural, massive leap is what we call a geostrategic tell.
A tell, like in poker.
Exactly like in poker. If we connect this to the bigger picture, you're absolutely right. 12,000 to 13,000 kilometers covers the entire United States. So targeting exactly 15,000 kilometers is highly specific.
Yeah.
And it's specific because a 15,000-kilometer radius gives you virtually unlimited global reach. You can strike literally any country on Earth. But more importantly, it strongly suggests they aren't developing a new weapon from scratch.
Oh, because they'd have to do all those intermediate tests first.
Right. This unnatural leap indicates they're just adopting an existing, fully developed design from another nation.
Wow. Okay, which obviously begs the question, if they're adopting an existing design, whose design is it? Because there's a very short list of countries with 15,000-kilometer ICBMs.
Very short. And to find that answer, we just have to trace the technology pipeline. There is a deeply established historical precedent here.
Okay, trace it for us.
Well, let's look at Iran's current missile, the Khorramshahr. The latest info confirms that it's a liquid-fueled rocket based directly on North Korea's Hwasong-10.
Also known as the Musudan, right?
Yes, the Musudan, or BM-25. So North Korea supplied that technology to Iran. But where did North Korea get it?
Let me guess, they didn't invent it either.
Nope. The North Korean Hwasong-10 is a direct adaptation of the Soviet Union's R-27, which was a submarine-launched ballistic missile from the 1960s.
Wait, really? A submarine missile?
Yeah. They took a Soviet submissile, adapted it for a mobile land truck, and then packaged that tech and sent it to Iran to become the Khorramshahr.
Okay, so let's make sure this is crystal clear for everyone listening. We are looking at a very clear, historically proven pipeline here. It goes from Russia to North Korea to Iran.
Exactly.
And if this pipeline is already established, what does the current geopolitical climate mean for its future, especially with the newer tech?
Well, that's where things get really concerning, because the latest info shows North Korea recently testing 3 different missiles with ranges of 15,000 kilometers or more.
3 of them.
3. You've got the Hwasong-18, tested in July 2023. This one is solid fuel and heavily tied to Russia's Topol-M.
Which is a huge deal, by the way, the solid fuel thing.
It's a massive deal. With liquid fuel, you have to drive the missile out, bring in fuel trucks, and pump it for hours. Satellites can see you doing it.
Right, you're just sitting out in the open.
Exactly, completely vulnerable to a preemptive strike. But solid fuel. It's chemically stable. You hide it in a tunnel, drive it out, and launch it in under 5 minutes.
Wow, 0 warning.
0 warning. And Pyongyang just suddenly mastered this. And then there's the Hwasong-19, capable of 17,000 kilometers. And before that, the Hwasong-17, which is liquid-fueled but tied to Russia's R-36, famously known as the Satan.
Right, the Satan, that's the one that carries multiple warheads, right?
Yes, MIRVs. It drops multiple warheads and decoys all over a continent. And the speed at which North Korea acquired all this highly successful tech, it practically confirms they're using proven imported technology from Russia.
Okay, but this is where I have to push back a little bit.
Sure.
The latest news suggests Moscow might just directly transfer this ICBM tech to Tehran now, right, bypassing North Korea. But historically, Russia has fiercely guarded this stuff. I mean, they didn't hand over their crown jewels even during the Cold War. Why would Moscow actually help Tehran build an ICBM capable of reaching America today?
It comes down to desperation. Moscow currently operates with a feeling of total immunity from global consequences.
Because of the sanctions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Western sanctions are practically maxed out. From their perspective, what more can the West do? There's no barrier left. And they already have this well-established, mutually beneficial cooperation with Tehran.
So the old rules just don't apply anymore.
They really don't.
But, I mean, what does this mean for you, the listener, and just the broader world? If a regional power like Iran suddenly gains the ability to strike anywhere on the globe, how does that rewrite the rules of international deterrence?
It transforms everything. It takes a contained regional security issue and turns it into an immediate global strategic threat.
Because distance no longer matters.
Right. It forces every single nation to recalculate their defense postures. You can't just assume you're safe because you're far away from Iranian territory. Everyone is in range.
Yeah, that's just a staggering shift in the security math, which leaves us with, honestly, a pretty terrifying final thought.
Yeah, and I want to leave the listener with this one last question to mull over.
Go ahead.
If Moscow is truly willing to provide Iran with the ultimate long-range strike capability, this 15,000-kilometer ICBM tech, what equally game-changing military support is Russia receiving from Iran in return to justify that transfer?
Oh, wow. Yeah, because they definitely aren't giving it away for free.
Definitely not.
That is a lot to think about. Well, thank you, everyone, once again, for listening to or watching this deep dive into the latest updates. We really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
And we formally invite you to check out and listen to the other deep dives in our network. As we said at the top, there are no wrong opinions here. Let's debate it. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.